Hey, it's Molly. Welcome back to my channel as we take a look at the Pisces full moon happening on August 30th, 2023. This is the second full moon of August. We close out the month with this energy. So let's take a look at what is going on in this chart. So we identify where the moon is, and it's over here at 7 degrees of Pisces, directly opposing the sun at 7 degrees of Virgo. And every full moon is when the moon is the biggest, the brightest, and it is illuminating something in your energy, in your world, that you are meant to see and understand at this time. So you would identify where you have 7 degrees of Pisces in your astrology chart by house placement. And I do have a video for you here on YouTube called How to Find a Degree Point in Your Chart. So please look that up if you need help finding this degree point. And the moon in Pisces is sensitive, intuitive, private, internal, wants time to be in your own energy, maybe wants to be left alone, to review, to contemplate, to also calm down and connect with yourself and your soul, with your spiritual energy. And so this Pisces full moon does highlight how you are really hearing your soul's messages and asking you to trust it, to trust what you're feeling even when you can't see it and you don't even know if it's real at times. But that's part of how we develop more of our spiritual muscles and how we trust our intuition. Now, this energy is, as I said, opposing the sun in Virgo, which is about practical daily matters. Virgo is a mutable earth sign. It is about adapting to what needs to be done while remaining responsible and focused on what you need to take care of. This is the energy of usually more analytical understanding. Scientific is part of Virgo. Really wanting to understand, well, how does this work? How did you arrive at this conclusion? How is this process happening and unfolding for you? So we have the strong analytical energy of Virgo also being activated during the full moon and being balanced by the emotional, intuitive senses of Pisces. Now, as you can see here, one of the key players of this full moon is this Saturn at 3 degrees of Pisces retrograde. Now, Saturn was last here at this degree point in April of this year. Saturn will station direct November 4th at 0 degrees of Pisces, and then again reach this 3 degree of Pisces degree point December 29th until January 10th, 2024. So Saturn is in a process here. And this full moon is illuminating that Saturn in Pisces process of what is closing, ending, being removed. This is also strong karmic energy here. Both Saturn and Pisces relates to our energetic responsibilities, what we need to take care of, what we need to manage, also what we need to complete. And it could be that some things have not been as easy to take care of. Maybe you have forgotten about them, pushed them off. Maybe they are lower on your to-do list. But this full moon is going to illuminate and highlight again what this Saturn in Pisces is requiring you to show up for. Saturn is our 3D. It's the physical world. It's our responsibilities, our commitments, where we need to be in our full adult energy and take responsibility for how we're living our lives. In Pisces, this is where there's things that we've got to finish up. you've got to take care of it. And this could be some big soul lessons. This could be some significant karma. This could be something that you are working through and working on. Saturn is also where we have to go it alone. And in Pisces, we have to trust ourselves to handle it. And so when this full moon intersects here with Saturn, there could be some realizations of things that, again, you forgot, but maybe have a certain heaviness to them. You know, the things that we don't look forward to, that we don't want to have to take care of, but we need to. Saturn requires it. And so there could be a reality check with this full moon around things that you forgot to do earlier, you've been meaning to take care of. And here we have a Pisces full moon saying, actually, this is important right now. Now, this could also feel discouraging. There could be an energy here of, I don't know what to do with this thing. I feel powerless. I feel uncertain. I don't know how to handle it. The Saturn conjunct the moon can feel depressive. It can feel challenging. It can feel very alone. This can be like a loneliness energy. And perhaps not knowing how to proceed. So there is a seriousness with this Pisces full moon that basically brings us down to earth. And that's part of the Saturn influence. That's also part of the Virgo influence, which says, well, you got to take care of this. I know you might not love it. I know it might not be the thing you were looking forward to, but Mercury retrograde here in Virgo is also helping us backtrack, pick up where we left off, make sure we didn't forget anything. So there's support from the universe to address things that, again, maybe you just thought, okay, I'll get to that later, and now it's later. Now it's time. Now it's in front of you. So get caught up and allow this to be a full moon that shows you actually to transform this Saturn in Pisces. What I'm feeling is, instead of maybe seeing this as something that is burdensome or discouraging, or you don't know what to do with it, turn it around and allow this Saturn in Pisces to come through as some type of angelic support system in the physical. Set your intention for that, because Pisces is about our spiritual guidance teams and what we feel, what we sense, what comes through in the dream state. So request perhaps that if you are dragging your feet on something, that you call in physical, tangible support as a real world angel that can work with you, and allow that to be a way to move the energy forward. Because we are in Virgo season, and it is about getting things done, even with Mercury retrograde. Now, the other element in this chart that is important is that Moon in Pisces, Pisces is ruled by Neptune. And here we have Neptune at 26 degrees of Pisces retrograde. And we've had this Neptune in Pisces since 2011. And this is the ruling sign for Neptune, is Pisces. So there's a strong influence here of this Pisces energy signature. And this is a Pisces full moon where it is being clear on what is complete, what is over, what you need to let go of, especially energetically. And I feel like this is going to be an important full moon to do any kind of energy work there around what is holding you back, what is done and over for you, what you don't want or don't need in the next phase or in where you're going. And this is where you're also able to trust what you're feeling and sensing without needing that external validation as much, because we've been in this energy of stepping into more of our spiritual gifts, especially since 2011 when this Neptune went into Pisces. And there is more now that we really got to own. You've got to own your intuition and trusting yourself. You've got to own it and use it daily. Use it daily as a way to navigate these energies, especially all the things swirling around that can be confusing or overwhelming. This is where you navigate through the storms or through the energies based on what your spiritual gifts are and what you're feeling and sensing is correct for you. And that's part of where I feel that this Pisces full moon is directing us back to how we are integrating your spiritual self, your intuition, into your real world. Are you living by your intuition? Are you incorporating that as something that works for you in the real world? And that's one of the positive energies of this moon conjunct Saturn, is that, Saturn can be challenging and isn't about having fun or being light necessarily. But this is where, when you're responsible with your energies, Saturn loves that. Saturn loves responsibility. So this is about being responsible with your energy, with your intuition, with your soul's wisdom, and allowing that to be something that supports you and provides a backbone as well, which is another Saturn phrase. Now, something that stands out to me here in this chart is that you'll notice that over here are the personal planets. So the sun, and we talked about how this Mercury is retrograde in Virgo, traveling back to 8 degrees of Virgo until September 14th and 15th. We have this Mars in Libra, where he is typically not his action-oriented Mars self. This is where Mars has to sit down, think it through, considers both sides, doesn't want to take action unless it's warranted. So this Mars isn't as strong in Libra. And then we have Venus retrograde in Leo still. She's sitting here at 12 degrees of Leo. And this is actually the degree point where she stations direct September 3rd and 4th. So she's going to be here at this degree point for about a week or 10 days. And as she's in this slowdown of basically hanging out at 12 degrees of Leo, she's also in an ongoing square to this Jupiter at 15 degrees of Taurus that will retrograde September 4th. So there's a pressure here where this Venus is figuring out what she wants, and it could be really exaggerated. Almost like it has to be big, it has to be something that I'm all in on. There's lack of moderation when you have Jupiter squaring Venus. But there's these personal planets all over here on this side of the zodiac wheel. And then over here, as you can see, we have the outer planets. The outer planets. And then we have the moon. The moon is entering this conversation and is on the side of the outer planets. The moon is our most personal energy. It's our most internal, intimate self. It's also where we can feel the most vulnerable and uncertain. And so the moon is moving through this territory of the outer planets that always shakes it up and brings this moon into greater contact and energetic understanding of the bigger picture of the world at this time and what's unfolding. So this moon is traveling by itself, as it will every month, every lunar cycle. But it's especially vulnerable and on its own over here, as it's in conversation with not only Saturn, but soon to be Neptune. And I feel like this moon is bringing our awareness even to what's going on in the bigger world that can be so confusing with the propaganda, with what is not being shared in the mainstream. This moon can feel lost in Pisces, and the conjunction to Saturn brings it back down to Earth and says this is what's really going on. But even Saturn in Pisces is not revealing all the information, all the details, all the facts. So we have a moon moving through this part of the astrological wheel that is sensitive, empathetic, very kind. Moon in Pisces is kind-hearted and loving. But there could be a discomfort here. Not only the conjunction to Saturn, but just the sense of not knowing what to do with everything in the world, not knowing what to believe or what to trust. Because Pisces can also be what is not real, so lies, illusions. But this is also an invitation from your soul to rise above the mundane, to rise above the physical world and go into your higher self. Really go into that crown chakra, which tends to be more intense when the moon is conjunct Neptune, which will happen after this full moon is exact and happens every month, in fact. This could also be where you have troubled sleep. If you aren't emptying energy out, if you aren't allowing things to flow through you or move through you, which is actually the Pisces natural state, where you don't attach, you don't get overly consumed by something. Now, Pisces can be where we go to escape the real world, and this is where people will go into addictions, go into things that take them out of reality in any form. In any form. It's the escapism. It's that escape hatch. And so this could be a Pisces full moon where, again, there's things you can't avoid. And you can't deny that you have to take care of it, that you're responsible for it, which is what the Virgo energy wants to see. It wants to see things getting done, making progress, being able to understand why it's necessary and why it's important. This is also the axis here between Virgo and Pisces of healing and health. And so this would be a time to check in on a health process, especially with Saturn here. Remember, Saturn started or reached this 3 degrees in April. Saturn entered Pisces in March of this year. So if there's something underway that you're healing or that you need to be aware of in your physical body, in your health, then this could be a time when the Pisces full moon illuminates that as well, and what that healing process is, how it's going, what's working. This is also where it's necessary to stay flexible. These are the mutable signs. The mutable signs of both Pisces and Virgo are asking you to say, okay, if that's not working, we're going to try something else. Or if there's a health issue and you don't agree with the doctor, Saturn, you get a second opinion. So there's going to be responsibilities in this Pisces full moon that we have to face and take care of. This could even be if you've been avoiding going to the doctor, the dentist, any type of professional. Then the universe might say, it's time to make that appointment. You can't keep pushing it off or pushing it away. It's necessary for your health and well-being. And one thing that also stood out to me with this chart, and this is what I'll leave you with, and this hasn't happened before. I had a song come through when I was looking at the energy of this chart, because as those of you know, you followed my channel for a while, I read the energies intuitively, where I just trust what is coming through, what is the strongest. And the song that came through is Joni Mitchell's Both Sides Now, which is a very Pisces song. If you follow the lyrics, I've looked at love from both sides now. I've looked at life from both sides now. I've looked at clouds from both sides now. It's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life at all. And that can be interpreted as the openness to what we don't know, allowing for an openness of new downloads, new messages, new experiences, but also remaining humble. A humbleness here, which is both Pisces and Virgo, that, yeah, there's things I don't have figured out. There's things I'm still learning. I'm still understanding. I'm still working through in my humanness. But when I connect it to my spiritual self and to my soul's wisdom, I know I'm going to be all right, even as I don't have all the answers. And this is part of where the Pisces energy wants you to be gentle with yourself. Let yourself off the hook. Don't try to get all the answers, even though Virgo wants that. Virgo wants the data organized by date. But there is a release here, a release valve. And you could really feel like throwing up your hands around something, where it's just like, I don't know. And that could be perfect. The I don't know could be exactly what Spirit wants you to acknowledge, so that the new knowingness, the new wisdom can come through. From give and take, from win and lose, from up and down, and everything in between. The Pisces full moon wants to connect your brilliant soul wisdom into more of your daily reality. To keep trusting that part of yourself, to keep trusting that you have what you need, to ask for assistance, clarity, understanding, and to keep going. And to keep going. And coming up with the Virgo new moon, in 2 weeks, a lot more is going to be clear. So, thank you for joining me. I appreciate your likes, your comments, your subscribes. Thank you so much for sharing this in your Facebook groups with others who would also connect with these messages and understanding. And I'll be back soon on my channel with more astrology to share with you. Have a beautiful Pisces full moon.